Alrighty, guys, gals, non-binary pals, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I appreciate it very much. Today, we are going to be talking about a subject that the reason I even kind of brought this up was based on the previous video that I have made. So if you haven't seen that, you might be a little confused, but I'll do my best to kind of share everything and share my thoughts. So the last video was about how a lot of people, a lot of the fat activists or whatever are kind of leaving body positivity, right? And that just kind of got me thinking about body positivity, the fitness industry, and all of these things, right? So then I fired off a tweet that was supposed to be, I mean, it was like a hot take, right? And then I posted it on my Instagram, which is what I normally do when I need content and I want to upset people, right? And so that's what I did. And this is the tweet right here. So the tweet says, hot take, but the fitness industry has done far more harm to people than body positivity has, right? And then I wrote on the caption on good old Instagram, I said, fat burners, waist trainers, flat tummy tea, preying on insecurities, making people feel their looks equal health. I could go on and on. I think the reason so many fitness pros hate body positivity or body neutrality is because they make money from you wanting to look like them. They make money off of you being insecure. Fitness is awesome, and it's changed my life. The fitness industry is kakaduki bing bong. All right, so that was the post that I made. Now, so to clarify or to go deeper, because that's what this video is for, is I just kind of want to share my thoughts and why I think this way, right? So first off, when we talk about the fitness industry, obviously that is kind of a, it's a broad term, but the reason I say fitness industry particularly is because fitness is one thing, but I feel like the fitness industry, the industry of when you go to these events like the Arnold or LA Fit Expo and all of these booths that are trying to sell you this thing, they're trying to sell you that thing, they're trying to get you to do this, they're trying to get you to do this program, all of that stuff. For me now, I'm just so sick of it, right? Because I have seen so many people get into fitness, right? Get into wanting to lose weight, get into wanting to change their life, and then the fitness industry gets a grasp of them, and then it ends up being a negative for them almost in the long run instead of this positive thing that they were really excited about. Now, is that a jaded view of it? Yes, of course. I am jaded. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not. I absolutely am biased. I'm biased to what I have seen and what I have been, what's happened to me and what I've seen happen to other people. So just let's get this out of the way, right? Of course I am biased, right? And then when we talk about body positivity, now this is something that I personally feel like maybe I have been a problem. Maybe I was part of the problem here. And that's just me just being honest, right? Because when you say body positivity, it seems like people start to think, oh, health at every size. Oh, fat positivity. Oh, being happy with being morbidly obese and not doing anything to change that, right? And you might think to yourself, nah, there's no one that really thinks that. I want to read to you a comment. And now this isn't really calling him out, but I just feel like this really, this explains exactly what I was saying to a T. A lot of people, their mind just automatically goes here, right? And so let me just read this comment. So this is a comment from Greg Doucette. Y'all know Greg. It says, the fitness industry has definitely done more overall worse things. So apparently he agrees with me, so that's a good thing. But that's too broad of a scope. You have to narrow it down. Body positivity is a small thing in comparison to the fitness industry, which is a large thing. To make it more comparable, you'd have to say that obesity has caused more deaths than the fitness industry. Well, it's so when I read that, I'm like, okay, I mean, if that's the way that you want to look at it, okay, that's fine. But I didn't say obesity or fat positivity or health at every size, right? I used the words that I used on purpose, right? Body positivity. There's a reason that I use those words. And I knew that people their brain would automatically go to health at every size or fat positivity or whatever word you want to use there, right? There's a reason I didn't say that, because so many people go straight to that thought. And the reason that I said maybe I was part of the problem, because I remember, a year and a half ago when I first heard about body positivity, a lot of what you would see were people that were in larger bodies, basically saying like, I'm being positive about this body that I'm in and I don't need to lose weight, yada, 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 right? When I think about body positivity now, in 2021, I think of anybody can be a part of this thing, right? Anybody can be positive about your body. And I think being positive about your body can help you make good decisions, right? So something that I know that I'm kind of going on a rant, but that's the point. We'll finish his comment, I promise. But when I think about body positivity, and the reason that I'm a fan of it, and the reason that I use that term, or body neutrality, whichever, is because I really think that it has helped me a lot. And I feel like it's helped a lot of other people as well. Now, just because I'm saying that the fitness industry has done more harm than body positivity, am I saying that there hasn't been any harm from body positivity? Or even if you want to go further and say health at every size or whatever, like, of course, those, just because I think one thing is worse or has caused more harm, that's not me saying this other thing hasn't done anything bad and it's all sunshine and rainbows and everything's great. I'm just saying, in my opinion, and from what I have seen, one thing has been worse. And that could be wrong. Like, I'm not saying that I'm 100% right. Again, I said it was a hot take for a reason. I knew there'd be a lot of people that disagreed, and there was. But the reason that I am a fan of like body positivity is a lot of people, we talk a lot about like self-hatred, right? I've mentioned this a lot on the channel. I personally am not a huge fan of self-hatred and saying like, oh, I hate myself, I hate my body, I hate everything about myself, so therefore I'm gonna change, right? The reason that I'm not a huge fan of that is because while I'm not going to say that it's impossible to change from that point of view, from having that mindset, because of course everyone's different, what I have seen in my experience is that when people try and change from that perspective, a lot of times it seems to be, I hate myself, so if I lose weight, I will no longer hate myself, right? And I'm just going to be honest, it usually doesn't work that way, right? So what I really believe is that if you are going to go through the process of losing weight, if you're going to go through that process, there is a level of self-love that I think is there just inherently. Again, this is my opinion, because it's freaking hard to lose weight. It's hard to get healthy. Those are decisions you need to make every single day. And if you truly don't love yourself and you only hate yourself, it's going to be really hard to make those decisions, right? And so that's why I am a fan of like self-love or body positivity, all of those things, right? Okay, let's continue to read this comment. Because you have to encompass everything within the fitness industry. There are good things and there are bad things. But if you add up all the bad things, it's definitely horrendous. But if you pick up the good things in the fitness industry, and say, for example, let's focus on all the comments of the fitness industry saying that you should do 150 minutes of cardio a week and get out and walk and do cardio. I really don't think that has had more of a detrimental effect than people promoting body positivity. So again, I think that body positivity has, again, like there's definitely been problems and there has been issues from it, but just to say people promoting body positivity, like you can do the same thing and extrapolate the good from that. Like people that might have loose skin, might have stretch marks, people that might have acne, people that might have whatever it might be, right? Literally, it's basically, for most of these people that are upset about me, it's basically literally anything other than fat, right? So if you were to extrapolate any of the other good things out of body positivity and just leave the fat part out of it, I'm sure most people that were disagreeing with my post would be like, oh yeah, that's a good thing. I think that's good. People should be happy with that, whatever it is. But once you add in like the fat to the ingredient list, then people have a problem. And that's what I've seen. And again, I knew that was going to happen. It's not like I was surprised that people started saying that like I'm promoting, I'm promoting obesity. I'm promoting all of this stuff. Like, obviously, I don't think that I'm doing that, but I knew that that was going to happen. I was not surprised, is what I'm trying to say, right? And then he ends it. So I think it's not really a fair comparison, because we're comparing one small thing, which is body positivity, to a massive industry known as the fitness industry. So for me, I just disagree, because I think that body positivity is pretty large, and the fitness industry is obviously pretty large. I will say, I know, and again, I said this earlier, I am focusing on the negatives, and I'm in a position right now and in a place in my life where I'm just very annoyed, and I've seen what the fitness industry has done to people. Now, a good example of this, and I'm really bummed out because there was a comment on here that was getting a lot of attention, but he has deleted it, which, again, whatever, you can do whatever you want. But Steve Cook actually started commenting. I don't have the comment, but basically he was kind of disagreeing with what I was saying, and there was kind of a back and forth between me and him, as well as other people just in the comments kind of commenting on what he was saying. So I actually ended up doing a live stream on Instagram to kind of talk about everything, and Steve came into that live stream. And then he decided to go live with me. So then we were having a conversation live, right, with a bunch of people. And it was really interesting because by the end of the conversation, now this is, you can watch the conversation. The conversation is still on my Instagram if you want to watch that. But by the end of the conversation, it seemed like we basically had agreed on what I was trying to get across, right? So like one thing that was really interesting was I talked about how I still have a lot of like guilt from when I did my show in 2016, my men's physique show, and got super shredded and like competed and stood on stage and did all the posing and posted it all about it, because I still get messages from people saying that, hey, I saw you compete and I decided to compete, but it's been really hard. Like, they're not trying to make me feel bad, but they're just like sharing me their story. And they're like, yeah, I competed, but it really messed up my relationship with food. And now I've been struggling ever since that, or whatever it might be. Right. And so I was like telling him, I was like, yeah, that's been really hard. And then he like went off and he told his own story where he said, because if you guys don't know, Steve Cook, like super popular. I think he won like the first Mr. Olympia physique or something like that. Like, he was like really, really popular in the men's physique bodybuilding thing, right? Like, he was really popular in that. And so he went on to talk about how he no longer competes and he has to take certain things to help with his testosterone. I'm not trying to like butcher his words. Again, if you want to check the live stream, I'll put a link in this description. I'll also, you guys will be able to watch it. I'm not trying to misrepresent what he was saying. So he himself was talking about how, he has those things that he's, bummed out about for being a part of, right? And that's kind of what I'm trying to say is like, I know that so many people get into fitness and get into the fitness industry because they want good things for themselves and for others. I understand that. It's just really sad that so many people get into it and either they get taken advantage of by the fitness industry, or they get into it and they start taking advantage of other people. And that is just like really frustrating. I know that you could probably make all of these arguments on the other side of the spectrum, and I've seen the comments of people saying I got into body positivity and then it made me feel like it was okay being overweight and blah, blah. And of course, like, I don't think that's a good thing either. Right? But I'm just saying, for me personally, from what I've seen, I think the fitness industry has done more harm than body positivity. I could be wrong, and I'm not saying that my opinion is, end all be all, but I just wanted to share my perspective and how, like, I am just very frustrated, and I have been, with the fitness industry, because, like, at the end of the day, what I want is for people to be happy and healthy. Like, that's what I want. So does that mean that I want people to be morbidly obese to where they can barely move and they can't live a healthy, happy, healthy, fulfilled life? Absolutely not. But I also don't want people to get into fitness and think they have to be spending hours upon hours in the gym, tracking every single thing for the rest of their lives, feeling like if they don't hit this set, if they don't hit this weight, if they're not taking this supplement, if they're not buying these things, they cannot make progress, and therefore now they're not healthy. Of course, that I don't want that either, right? I want people to be happy and healthy, and I don't want them to have to spend a fortune to be able to do that. That's what I want at the end of the day. That's the reason I make so much content about the fitness industry. It's the reason I make so much content about health at every size, body positivity, whatever you want to call it. I talk about both of them. I'm not saying that I'm a huge fan of body positivity and everything they do. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I hate everything the fitness industry has done and there's no good coming from it. That's not what I'm saying either. I'm just stating my opinion, saying I think that this thing has been worse than this thing. That's it. So if you disagree, that's totally fine. I'm not saying you're not allowed to, but that's my opinion.